Tonight, we turn to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, an institution that has steadily grown from its foundation in 2001 into one of the most influential platforms shaping the future of Eurasian politics, economics, and security. What unfolded in this latest address was not simply a set of routine remarks. It was a sweeping vision for global governance, international law, cultural values, and economic development. Delivered with deliberate care, the message underscored the importance of cooperation in a world increasingly defined by rivalry and division. The speaker began by laying out the principles guiding the SCO and its expanding circle of dialogue partners, some kind of dialogue partner. Each of these applications certainly deserves the most attentive and friendly attitude, he emphasized, reminding the audience that the SCO is not a closed club, but rather a platform welcoming those committed to shared ideals. The statement was both an invitation and a subtle signal that membership or partnership must come with genuine adherence to principles. At the heart of the SCO, the speaker insisted, lies a fundamental requirement. The main thing is that all those who want to establish interaction with the Shanghai Organization, share its values and ideals, are committed to pursuing an independent policy and jointly seeking solutions to pressing problems. This principle distinguishes the SCO from Western alliances, often bound by rigid hierarchies or singular leadership. Instead, the organization presents itself as a collective endeavor, one rooted in equality and sovereignty. Since its establishment in 2001, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has sought to build stability on the Eurasian continent. The speaker framed this historical trajectory with clear purpose. Since its establishment in 2001, the SCO has been actively involved in efforts to create an atmosphere of peace and security, trust and cooperation on our common Eurasian continent. The statement underlines what the SCO sees as its unique role, going beyond military or economic concerns to foster an entire architecture of trust across an increasingly contested region. This framing is significant in a world where mistrust between major powers dominates headlines. The SCO positions itself as a counterbalance, offering dialogue over diktat. The remarks then shifted to highlight the contribution of China's leader, Xi Jinping, whose call for reforms in global governance has resonated widely within the SCO framework. In this regard, we have certainly listened carefully to everything that Mr. Xi Jinping has proposed for the creation of a new, more effective and functional system of global governance, the speaker noted, signaling alignment with Beijing's push for reforms. This was followed by a sharp contrast aimed at those who, in his words, still cling to unilateral power. This is relevant in conditions where some countries still do not abandon their desire to dictate in international affairs. The line carried unmistakable undertones, an implicit reference to Western dominance and its continued insistence on setting the terms of global order. From Russia's perspective, the call was not only welcome, but actionable. Russia supports the initiative of Chairman Xi Jinping and is interested in beginning a concrete discussion of the proposals put forward by our Chinese friends, the speaker declared. With that, the SCO was portrayed as more than a talking shop. It was cast as a potential engine to reshape governance structures that reflect multipolar realities. Perhaps the most defining moment came when the speaker drew a vision for the future global order. And it seems that it is the SCO that could take on a leading role in efforts to form a more just and equal system of global governance in the world, which would be based on the primacy of international law and the key provisions of the UN Charter, would be truly balanced and would take into account the interests of the widest possible range of countries and would guarantee opportunities for their sustainable development and security. This sweeping passage captured the essence of the SCO's ambitions. The call for justice, equality, international law and sustainability directly counters narratives of unilateral sanctions, interventions and conditional aid. It highlights how the organization seeks legitimacy not by rewriting rules, but by reclaiming them under the UN framework. Beyond politics and security, the speech turned to tangible achievements in economics and trade. Within the framework of the SCO, trade, economic investment and financial cooperation is also being vigorously promoted, he said. What followed was a striking statistic. It is significant that, against the backdrop of continuing difficulties in the global economy, the combined GDP of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, states increased by more than 5% on average in 2024. This is higher than world values. Industrial production increased by 4.6%. In a year where much of the world faced stagnation or slow growth, the SCO's performance was presented as proof of resilience and cooperation. The figures underscore the bloc's rising weight, especially given its demographic and resource base. The SCO isn't merely a political club, it is increasingly an economic force. The areas of cooperation listed were broad and ambitious: energy, finance, agriculture, food security, infrastructure, high technology, innovation, and transport. By naming these, the speaker effectively drew a roadmap of priorities, sectors that not only serve immediate national interests, but also reinforce long-term integration. The address then moved into softer, but no less important, themes of cultural diplomacy. It is equally important that the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization traditionally respect historical, cultural values and civilizational diversity, he stressed. In a world where cultural homogenization often breeds resentment, this was a nod to the SCO's ethos of respecting difference rather than erasing it. Building on this, the speech highlighted how cooperation extends beyond politics and economics to people-to-people exchanges. It is on this basis that contacts between people are deepening and interaction is being built in the fields of science and education, healthcare and sports. This narrative reframed the SCO as a platform of communities, not just governments. Two upcoming cultural events were spotlighted as vehicles of soft power and shared identity. Taking this opportunity, I would like to mention that on September 20th, the international television competition of popular songs, Intravision, will take place in Moscow. This large-scale project is aimed at promoting universal cultural and spiritual values. The competition has already generated a lot of interest. Artists from many countries, including those represented at today's meeting, have confirmed their participation. This was followed by another invitation. We also invite delegations from all your countries to the St. Petersburg International Forum of United Cultures, which starts next week, and to the Russia Sports Power Forum, which will take place in November in Russia in the city of Samara. Such events, while seemingly cultural, carry profound geopolitical undertones. By hosting them, Russia positions itself as a hub for civilizational dialogue, a space where nations come together not to debate conflicts, but to celebrate heritage and creativity. In an era where global politics is often dominated by technological competition and economic rivalry, the speaker made a pointed appeal. Otherwise, these traditional values are already fading into the background of the international agenda. It's time to bring them back onto the international agenda. This was more than nostalgia. It was a demand that cultural, moral, and spiritual dimensions once again be treated as pillars of international cooperation. For the SCO, the claim is clear. Material growth must be anchored in shared values and traditions. The closing remarks were imbued with optimism and purpose. The current meeting will undoubtedly be useful and will contribute to strengthening friendly relations between all the states represented here. It will serve to actualize broad interaction in a wide variety of areas. Thank you for your attention. This summation returned to the heart of the message, that the SCO is a living platform continuously evolving with the capacity to shape the future in multiple domains. Taken together, the speech painted a comprehensive picture of the SCO's trajectory and ambitions. At its core were several key themes: inclusivity and values. Membership and dialogue partnerships are open but conditional on adherence to independence, equality, and shared ideals. Multipolar governance. The SCO aims to play a central role in building a system of global governance that is just, equal, and grounded in international law. Economic growth. Despite global headwinds, SCO economies are expanding, underlining the bloc's resilience and potential. Cultural diplomacy. Events like Intravision and forums in St. Petersburg and Samara aim to promote traditional values, civilizational diversity, and people-to-people connections. A future beyond dictates. The consistent critique of unilateralism underscores the SCO's determination to challenge hegemonic tendencies and create space for broader voices. The speech thus wove together politics, economics, and culture into a singular narrative that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, underpinned by respect for sovereignty, values, and diversity, is emerging as one of the most vital platforms for shaping the future of Eurasia and perhaps the wider world.